Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. I've had a couple of requests to do a settings video, so we're going to run through those today. Obviously, when I go through these, take everything with a grain of salt because a lot of it is personal preference. But if this can help you in any way, then that's perfect. Right, so if we go to settings, controller, obviously controller, button layout, default. Horizontal stick sensitivity is 1.6, same with my vertical. And then, to be honest, I think all of these are just off. Controller vibration off. Input dead zones. Now, this is a big one. You guys might see me use rotational aim assist quite a bit, which is essentially aim assist when you move left and right, which is what is most of the times what you're going to get in terms of aim assist on Call of Duty nowadays. Because of this, I have my left stick set to 1. That means that as soon as I'm touching that, or even if I'm resting on the left thumbstick, I'm getting aim assist essentially. Now, what we also want to do is I've got my left stick max down to 65. This means that essentially, as soon as I'm touching it, I'm basically going to be tack sprinting. You're going to be moving a lot quicker on the sticks, and also you're going to get less dead slides because you're basically going to max straight away as soon as you touch that left stick. I obviously have automatic tack sprint on, which we'll come on to a bit later. But yeah, so that is why that's at 65. My right stick min is 3. Now this is actually, I think this is actually quite an underrated or untalked about setting. That 3 is the sweet spot for me. Now I appreciate a lot of guys might have stick drift, and mine is terrible. I'm using a cheap Turtle Beach controller that has back paddles, so my thumbs don't really come off the stick, so it's not too much of a problem for me. If you don't run back paddles, this could be an issue. Although I would highly recommend, getting one because they're quite cheap nowadays. The controllers. I'm literally using a wired cable, and yeah, I think it's definitely a good investment having you jump and you slide or jump and crouch at the back on the paddles. So as I said, 3 tends to be the sweet spot for me. If I go to 4, which I've tried to mitigate some of the stick drift, I find that it doesn't really help. It does make my aim feel a bit sketchy. And with it being 3, I think it's that perfect balance because I know that pretty much as soon as I'm touching my right stick, my aim's going to be following and tracking my thumb exactly how I want it to. So I think, 3 for me is the perfect sweet spot. Play around with it, see what you think, but honestly, try 3. I think it works really well. And then right stick max is 99 because basically I want full range of motion when it comes to aiming on my right stick. I want, the total control. So having it all the way up gives me that. Then obviously dead zones for your triggers, guys, have them 0. You do not need, you want to be as quick as possible. As soon as you sort of, have an enemy come to you, you want to be on them straight away, aiming and then shooting. Right, so if we then go over to aiming, sensitivity multipliers, now all of these are obviously 1. ADS sensitivity multiplier is 85. However, I do something a little bit differently to other people, which I'll come on to in a minute. I prefer it at 0.85 because it just feels right to me. Again, personal preference. Try it at 0.85. You might like it, you might hate it. I know a lot of guys do 1.6 and then 1, and then they find that to be perfect, but that's fine. I've got focus down as 0.85 again, but to be honest, you could have that at 1. It would be absolutely fine. So if we get rid of that, aim in advanced settings. Now I've seen a lot of people talk about. Oh, I do apologise, it's not that one. It's motion sensor with function advanced settings. I've seen a lot of people talk about this setting, which is the FOV sensitivity scaling. It could be, it could be a conspiracy theory, although I do think this actually does do something. I've got it on at the minute, and I find that when I've got it on, my tracking and also switching between enemies is a lot smoother than if I'm to have it off. Having it off definitely feels a bit more sticky, but not at range. It's very strange. So I just have this on. Although I don't think, at the end of the day, it says motion sensor function off. So I'd, take it with a pinch of salt and, make your own assessment on that. Right, so now if we go to aim and advanced settings, this is the difference I was talking about. I'll go to, so obviously I have my ADS sensitive transition time in it gradual. That's the difference. So obviously I run it at 0.85, which is a little bit slower than most at 1.6. But because I run gradual, it gives me that slight, few milliseconds where it's a little bit more loose than it would be if it was instant. Obviously, if you go instant, that's as soon as you press the aim trigger, that's going straight into that 0.85 or 0. Whatever aim assist or ADS multiplier. So like I said, I have it on gradual because 0.85 is a little bit slower, but then I feel it's still a little bit snappy. But then say if I'm tracking a target for a little while, I know that it's locked in at 0.85. Yeah, aim response curve, like most, is dynamic, and I don't mess with the slope scale. I don't think you need to. You can mess around with it, but basically what that's doing is sort of making the slope curve a lot more linear. It's you sort of making a hybrid between dynamic and linear. And then custom sensitivity per zoom, I don't have that on. Movement, tactical sprint assist, mantle assist off, crouch assist off, corner slice, I have that on, but that's personal preference. I know some guys don't like it, but I do. Slide dive behavior, hybrid, absolutely hybrid. You need to be running hybrid. Yeah, then all of these settings just off, on, off, on. Movement advanced settings, I don't really mess with those too much, but again, all of this is personal preference really after the aiming stuff. But yeah, that's basically it. If you think I missed anything, just let me know in the comments. Give them a go, give the settings a go, give my settings a go, comment back to me, see what you think. The only other thing I would say is I've got my Turtle Beach controller, which is a cheap one. My headset's cheap as well, but I do also run risers on my thumbsticks. I won't say which brand name, but I think you can work out which one it is. They're probably the most popular one, which I do think help give you that little bit more accuracy. The only thing I would say, if you've got particularly small hands, it might be a bit difficult to use them, although yeah, I think they're amazing. I wouldn't ever go back to not using them on a controller. Yeah, like, subscribe. I hope this helped. Let me know if I missed anything or you want clarification on anything else. And yeah, I'll see you in future videos. Thanks, guys.